Rome burned for 6 days so its emperor could build a palace. In the year 64, a fire tore through the heart of the ancient city, destroying most of it in less than a week. Afterward, the Emperor Nero built his most extravagant home on the very ground the fire had cleared. The fire broke out near the Circus Maximus and quickly spread out of control across Rome's crowded wooden neighborhoods. It burned uncontrolled for 6 days, seemed extinguished, then reignited for 3 more. Of Rome's 14 districts, 3 were totally destroyed, and 7 more reduced to smoking ruins. At the time, Nero was 35 miles away at his villa on the coast. He rushed back to Rome, opened his own gardens and public buildings to house the homeless, and arranged emergency food supplies for the thousands left with nothing. This part of the story is not disputed. The legend that Nero fiddled while Rome burned is simply false. The fiddle did not exist yet in his lifetime. Even the ancient historian Tacitus, writing decades later, only reported a rumor that Nero sang about the fall of Troy while the city burned, and flagged it clearly as unconfirmed. What is documented is this. On the land the fire cleared, Nero built an enormous new palace called the Domus Aurea, the Golden House, filled with gardens, lakes, and gilded halls. To many Romans, the timing looked less like coincidence and more like a motive. To deflect the growing suspicion, Nero publicly blamed Rome's small Christian community for starting the fire. What followed was brutal and well documented by Roman historians. Public executions, including crucifixions, and men burned alive as human torches, a first state-sponsored persecution of Christians in Roman history. The Domus Aurea itself didn't last either. Nero's successors tore much of it down and buried the rest, ashamed of its excess, building new structures like the Colosseum directly on top of it. Today, tourists walk through Nero's buried golden halls, without most of them even knowing they're there. Rome really did burn for 6 days, and its emperor really did build a golden palace on the ashes. The fire destroyed most of the greatest city in the ancient world. And in the end, all anyone remembers is the palace, and a fiddle that never actually existed.